In this video, we're going to explore the formats intended for the very youngest children. Let's start with cloth books. These books are made from, you guessed it, cloth. They're filled with a pillowy stuffing and they're very soft and have very few pages, sometimes as few as 4. They're designed for the very earliest literacy stages. These are literally for babies. This one, for instance, is full of only red and black and white abstract shapes. And this is because babies can see these colors within weeks of birth and like to look at them. So these are meant to be handled before babies really have any dexterity. And since they're so pillowy and soft, they won't hurt when a baby drops them on their own face. Board books, on the other hand, are also for very young children, but more like older babies and toddlers. These books have thick cardboard pages and are often usually small enough for small people to hold comfortably. They can fit more pages into one book than cloth books can, but still not as many pages as books with paper pages, usually something in the range of 14 to 24 pages. Sometimes publishers will republish famous or popular books in a board book edition, although sometimes they have to shorten the books by skipping some of the original content, so watch out for those. This one has all 32 pages of the original picture book, so it makes it a slightly longer board book. There's also another new format called indestructible books. These are printed on thin plastic that is meant to feel more like paper, but they can't be torn by hand, and they won't get damaged by water. These can even be washed in the laundry. These books also tend to be short, around 10 pages. So cloth and board and indestructible books are all designed to be durable, to stand up to more abuse than standard paper pages could. These books are of course meant to be looked at by children, but children are silly and playful. And so these books can also withstand a lot of tough play. Still fine. Board and cloth and indestructible books can be chewed on or thrown across the room or handled really roughly, whereas doing that with picture books or novels would destroy them really quickly. Young children explore through touch and, yes, through their mouths, and so these books are designed for them. The durability of board and cloth books have another purpose aside from just survival. They give very young children the chance to practice the motions of reading. Children aren't born knowing how to hold a book and turn the pages. That takes practice. Some kids with special needs especially take longer to get those fine motor skills needed for safely handling paper pages, and so they may benefit from the strong pages of board and indestructible books even after they're ready for deeper content. And that's where those republished picture books that are published in board book format can be really helpful. Nonfiction board books and cloth books are often ABC books or number books or books that teach a collection of words. These books are meant for children to peruse and recognize items that they know, or to connect the picture they see with the name read by an adult. In other words, these books are especially good at teaching children how to associate words with pictures and numbers and letters with their symbols. This all might seem very obvious to us experienced readers. We never stop to think about how to hold a book or turn a page or how the number 1 has a specific symbol, but we have to start somewhere. But we do have one more type of book to consider when we think about cloth and board books, and it's a weird one: interactive books. These include books with compartments, it has a little tiny book inside. It includes books with activities, like with markers that you can draw on. It includes lift the flap books, like the classic Where's Spot. Books that have textures to touch and that make interesting noises when you rub your fingers on them. It includes books with buttons, every parent's favorite. And it even includes books with little puppets built right in. As the name suggests, interactive books really invite the reader to dive into the book in a tactile, touch-based way. To touch and prod and play with the story to get excited about books. Sometimes the stories in these books are non-existent or irrelevant to the moving pieces. In general, these books are just kind of strange because some of them hold to the durability expected of books for very young children. And some are really complex and fragile and don't seem like they're intended for kids at all. People tend to think of pop-up books as a format for kids, yet many of these would be immediately destroyed in a classroom. Pop-ups in particular are often closely guarded in classrooms and libraries, and sometimes held behind desks or only checked out in certain observed situations. These books are therefore the most paradoxical children's format. They're simultaneously meant for children and not built to withstand them. Overall, cloth books and board books and indestructible books and interactive books remind us to consider not just the content of books, but what they're literally made out of and what that says about how they're meant to be handled and by whom.